This is Katie Colleen here. Welcome back, Colleen Clan, or if you are new, then come join the family for a One Piece cosplay work vlog. For those that are not super familiar with the anime side of things, One Piece is a huge anime. It has over 1,000 anime episodes and over 100 volumes of manga. So this is a world that has a huge cast of characters and also a lot of outfits to choose from, as the main cast get new outfits with each arc of the series. And because of these things, I have always just been constantly overwhelmed when trying to pick out a One Piece outfit to cosplay. So my friend is organizing a One Piece cosplay group at SakuraCon. So for this group, we are all going to be cosplaying from the Dressrosa arc of One Piece. So with everything narrowed down to an arc and only being able to choose the outfits that the characters wear in that arc for this group, I was able to really focus in and choose an outfit to make. So I'll be making Nami, the ship's navigator. This is her outfit for Dressrosa. I will be altering it a little bit since this is not the type of outfit I would necessarily feel comfortable wearing in public, so I will be modifying it just a little bit for modesty reasons. With that being said, let's get into the patterns and materials for this build. So for patterns, there are no patterns. Materials! So I got this swimsuit spandexy type of material for the little bikini top. Then I have orange fabric for the little flowers. And then I also have some yellow fabric left over from one of my Queen Bee builds. So that'll be the yellow for the flowers. For the pants, I have a collection of various jeans that I just don't wear anymore. This is one of them, and that'll be our pants. And then the little side details I can make out of foam or worbla. Wigs. You may be wondering why I want 2 wigs when I only have one head, and I am currently thinking that I will take out the wefts in one of these wigs and sew it into the other, because Nami's hair has the most volume. She has a lot of hair. I will also be making her Climatact, which is the big blue staff that she carries around. So I have a PVC pipe and I'll just paint it blue. I think I'll cut it up so it can be collapsible too. Everything else I purchased. So I have these super cute shoes. I got a gold bangle bracelet and a little flower necklace off of Depop. So that should be everything for our materials. The first thing to do with our little bikini top thing is to make a mock-up. So I'll be pulling out my muslin fabric like usual to kind of play around with. And I'm going to use a patterning method called draping. So this is when you take your dress form, my dress form is named Gertrude, and you drape fabric over it and you make a pattern in that way. So I'll be draping muslin kind of over the bust area, and I'll be shaping it into the shape of kind of the bikini top. I'd also like to add a band around the rib cage at the bottom, just a pretty thick band, just to make this have just a little bit more coverage. I also do not want to be wearing a top out at a convention that is just held on with knotted strings. So I figured I could have this thick band, and this could maybe be an over the head top, and I just put it on over my head. A lot of these bikini tops just have gathering at the bottom. And that's fine, but because I'm appliquing flowers on top of it and trying to stitch flowers on top, I think it'd look better if I had a much more smoother look and just did a dart down the center. So the mock-up was going well enough that I decided I was just going to cut into the spandex fabric and sew a lining layer test run. So this is how that looks. And it's probably, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you can see the Straw Hat logo through this layer of spandex. So I do think I will have to double it up. How do I say this? I'm not quite filling this out there you go, as it is right now. So I think when I have the cup inserts sewn in, it'll actually like kind of round it out and it'll fit a little bit better, because right now it's kind of flat. So next I want to work on the outside layer with all the flowers on it. So I think I will cut this out again, and I'll cut it out 2 times and layer it up. So I'll have 2 layers of spandex fabric just for the outside layer. And then I'm going to applique on the flowers, hopefully. So I didn't know this was gonna work, but it did work. I have a flower. Now that I know this works, I can show you the process of how I did this as I make the other flowers. So first of all, I need to cut out the orange and yellow fabrics. And from there, I have a tearaway stabilizer, and I zigzag the flower down to the stabilizer. Now, what this does is it kind of makes the outer layer of the flower have a bit more structure to it. It stops the wrinkling and slipping of the fabric because you have a more rigid outer border of your flower. So after I've done that, then I will get more tearaway stabilizer, and I can actually stick this on top of the top. And then I will do a zigzag stitch onto the top. Now sometimes I skip this step, but I really just wanted to take this slow and do it right. So you're doing a second layer of zigzag stitching, and if that all looks good and nothing wrinkles or moves or looks awful, then I do a satin stitch next. So a satin stitch is this really tight zigzag stitching, and it just looks really nice. It really cleans it up. It gives us this nice like embroidered border. I really like it. Took about 5 hours just to get these little flowers appliqued on, and this is just yet another example of Colleen just can't leave it at good enough. I definitely could have just painted on the flowers and been done in like 30 minutes, but it wasn't good enough. With all our flowers appliqued, next we'll be attaching our outside layer to our lining layer and really just kind of closing this whole thing up. So that means I will need to make some ruffles. There are some little ruffles that come across the front here, and then we can just close it on up, attach it to the lining layer, and we will pretty much be done here. Here's how our top turned out. That means we are pretty much done with the sewing. I really put off like all the foam work, but we really need to do stuff that's not sewing. So I have, however, been working on the wig kind of like behind the scenes, off camera, before and after work. So I want to talk a little bit about the wig work that I'm doing, because that'll probably happen like at the same time I'm doing all the foam work and prop work. I have 2 wigs, this light orange one and then this darker orange one. They're both Arta wigs, and I actually really lucked out and I got both of them used. So the combined price was about the price of like one new Arta wig. But I'm taking all the wefts off of this wig, and I'm tearing them out with a seam ripper, and then I'm putting them onto this wig, which is sitting on the wig head, and then I am hand stitching that weft in. And the result is this really pretty like mixed orange color. It has some really pretty highlights. So this is like the very long and tedious way to do this, but it has been kind of relaxing in its own way to just watch TV and weft a wig. Welcome back. This is the part of the show where I start to have some serious regrets about leaving all the foam work to last. So how I made the little shorts details. I have fully given up on trying to make perfect circles without already using an existing circle. So instead I just found a cup from our kitchen that looked about the right size. I traced that, and then I found another cup that was a little bit smaller and I traced that. Bam, perfect circles. So this is just a 2mm craft foam. Glued that together with E6000 glue, waited for a day for it to dry, and now here we are. So I'm going to be covering these with worbla. Worbla is a thermoplastic, so when you heat it up with a heat gun, it becomes really soft and you can kind of bend it to the shape you want. Now, the nice thing about Worbla is it's very durable. Like, this is very hard. It will hold its shape, whereas foam is much softer. So I will be using my wheelchair at the con. So I'll be sitting the whole day. They might rub against the side guards if I'm like leaning to grab something. I just wanted these to be a little bit more durable. I'll be covering all of my little foam details in Worbla, and then I will be covering them with Mod Podge and then painting them. So last weekend I finished the little shorts details with foam and Worbla, painted those up. So this weekend I just need to finish the attachments. So I decided to go with Velcro. And I am not a big fan of Velcro, but it just seemed like the easiest way to attach these little Worbla discs and still be able to wash the pants. It's actually kind of cool. It's just... That was a lot of fun. That was very satisfying. Now, another thing I worked on last week was the log pose bracelet. Come on, let me in. Let me wear my log pose. And I am making a separate YouTube tutorial just for this bracelet if you would like to have enough details to be able to make this yourself. Climatact. So I just need to cut this into pieces and then paint it blue. There really isn't a whole lot to it. I really did want to make a Climatact when I made my last Nami cosplay, which was a Thriller Bark design. And I bought all the supplies for the Climatact and just never made it. The final thing to finish up will be the wig. I have about, I'd say like 7 wefts left to weft on, and then I'll probably just give it like a light curl, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that is like a fair few hours of work left wefting because it takes forever to hand weft a wig, especially because I'm wefting the entire wig, not just part of it, like literally weft for weft, 2 wigs into one. So let's move on to the final reveal of my Nami cosplay from the Dressrosa arc of One Piece.
Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
Okay, so final thoughts on Nami of the Straw Hat Pirates. I was really worried I just wouldn't like how I looked in this. I was not like a huge fan of how I looked for my other version of Nami. Like, I think the outfit's cute, I don't know. So I was really worried that that would be the case with this costume, but I do actually quite like it. The wig has so much volume from wefting 2 wigs into one. Was it worth like 10 hours of work? I'm not really sure yet. Overall, I went hard with this build. I really went kind of hard with it when I didn't need to. But I feel like it came out like just very professional, very nice. And I'm ready to take her to SakuraCon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!